Hey guys, this is me, David, again. Welcome back to the Infinite Canvas podcast. Now, before we do get started, just want to give you a quick heads up. In this episode, me and John both decided to talk about our guilty pleasures. Things that we like that we don't tend to share with other people. Not that because they're bad or because, they are hated, but just because they're weird things to like. As another quick heads up, we might be spoiling some of these stuff. I at least tried not to. John, on the other hand, maybe let some stuff slip on the stuff he's talking about. But, just as a quick warning, we may give spoilers for the stuff we talk about. Other than that, it was a great episode, so I hope you guys enjoy.
Hey everybody!
That was
Welcome back.
week.
It was. Welcome back to the Infinite Canvas, guys. Anyways, as we were saying... Make it sound like I didn't give a shit. I have noticed, from re-listening to some of our episodes, that when I say, hey everybody, like, it always makes me cringe, because it reminds me of that scene from Civil War when Spider-Man shows up.
I don't remember this.
Right when, it was in the trailers, right when, they're about to start fighting, and Tony's like, under ruse! And Spider-Man just shows up, and he goes, hey everybody.
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, I know what part you're talking about. I know he said that. I thought he was like, oh, hey guys. But I could be wrong.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but that's just the vibe it gave me. I mentioned Spider-Man and Civil War because those are great movies that everybody can agree are good movies. Right?
Yes. Great movie.
And if you guys have been listening for a couple of episodes now, you know that we have some opinions on movies that are bad that we enjoy. Some of us more than others.
Yes. That is very true.
So I do remember earlier today. By the way, today's topic is going to be about what did we say we were calling it? Guilty pleasures?
Yes. Something like that, yes.
Right. We're admitting our bad taste and stuff. It's kind of a way of just getting it out of the way before we make more cringy content later on. So you guys can kind of understand why we make references to things like these.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I started yawning in the middle of that. I apologize for that. I like kind of woke up about half an hour ago. But no, yes. Well, it's not mostly like the stuff I like. There's very few things that I like that are considered bad. Mostly because I'm mostly part of like the norm of what everyone hates. I also tend to hate. And I'm not trying to sound like, oh yeah, I join the crowd here. I'll hate whatever other people hate. It's like, no, it's just, I tend to, I have almost the same taste as like the norm people. But mostly some of my guilty pleasures are more of movies that I kind of enjoy that, a normal guy wouldn't admit to enjoying.
Like Twilight.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you like Twilight?
Let's continue our show. Because, way to go, John, you took my thing.
Oh, we didn't, by the way, we didn't discuss exactly what we were going to say. I did spoil it earlier to David, what I was going to talk about. One of them, at least.
Yeah.
But, the other one, no, I haven't.
But, no, so yeah. I mean, at least for me, the things that I chose, I don't think they're considered bad, but they're just things that, a normal guy like my age and or like just in my background wouldn't feel comfortable admitting he likes them. Uh, but I mean, uh, I I'll explain when we get there of why I chose them. But um, before we do get started, I think we both chose two things. I
Yeah,
chose two things.
I did. I mean, I can go on and on, but I think I have more bad choices than you do, anyways. Or maybe I could be wrong and you might have more, or we're equal. But I stuck with two. I guess it's kind of an in defense of one of these. I don't really know if the other one is bad or not. I just think it's niche, I guess. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah, but before we do start, we did decide to exclude some stuff from this topic, mostly because we've already talked about it in other videos. It's like when John didn't choose to talk about his fondest of Death Note, and I didn't choose to talk about why I kind of enjoy the Fantastic Four movie, the newer one. But I mean, if y'all ever do want to know why I enjoyed that movie, at least, I get to that in future episodes. But who's gonna go first here?
Hold on. Last time we did the Curse Quest episode? No, we did Pixels, and I went first last time.
Yes, Pixel. Okay. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh God. I still cringe thinking about that. At least I saved myself at the end with that shitty Liam Neeson Taken.
Did
sequels.
you really save yourself?
Oh yeah, I saved myself. That's grade A John humor right there.
Does it get better than that?
Absolutely not. This is what you guys get. This is the quality content you get from me.
Oh god, don't promise him that. Okay, so so before we started, we weren't sure how we were gonna decide what we chose, whatever. I literally before even starting to record earlier today, we were at school and we're like, so how are we gonna do this? And we've decided that we're gonna choose two of a certain like area, either TV, movie, comics. John threw in anime, so I'm guessing he's gonna bring in an anime.
I also said video games.
Well, video games too, but I'm pretty picky in the games I play because games are cheap, and for a dude going to school, I don't have time to be wasting money on bad games. So typically, whatever is good, I usually buy that and play it. So what I chose is a movie and a TV show. TV show is the most recent one. But do you want me to do one and one, or do you want me to do both of them now, and then you do two?
You do want... Let's just, like, switch it up. I guess it's kind of like our first episode, but we don't have 10 things to talk about.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so, mine was already spoiled, but I had chosen Twilight. Okay, here's the thing. I don't think Twilight is a bad movie. And I'm pretty sure that's true for a lot of other people. Twilight is not a bad movie. It's just not a movie made for guys, and it's a movie made for girls. But I enjoy watching it. The first one I haven't seen. I think there's 4 in total.
There's 5, aren't there? Because the fourth one gets split into 2 movies.
Oh. Yes.
Twilight started all of that bullshit. God, I hate when movies do that. No, it's Twilight first. The goddamn did it first.
I mean, they gotta make their money somehow. And, I swear I thought that was Harry Potter first. But...
I'm not gonna get into it.
I didn't watch any of the Harry Potter ones. But, no, yeah, I chose Twilight. Again, maybe not considered a bad movie, but being a dude, you know, that's not something that another dude would admit to liking, because, you know, the whole, oh, you're being very girly if you like that. But in my defense, the only reason I really enjoyed the movie It's because of the actress Ashley Green. I don't know if you know who that is.
Is that the girl with the pixie haircut that played baseball? Because that's the only scene that I really cared about because it had a really cute
Yes.
vampire girl. Okay, then
Yes.
I can agree 100% on you on this. Then that's the only saving throw it has, and that Anna Kendrick is in the movie. But I mean, she's just like perfect
No, but
person.
she's more of like the Andrew Kendrick. Her character was only like there, at least in the first movie. I don't know about the other ones, but she was only there in the beginning, like where they were getting adjusted to school, and then she showed up like probably like two more scenes. But Ashley Green, she is the reason why I rewatch this movie so much. If it's literally on TV while I'm scrolling, I'll stop and watch it because the baseball scene you're talking about. Oh my god, she one with a short. There's pictures of her with long hair, and she is an attractive woman. She's very pretty, but when she has her short hair and the contacts they wear to give them that vampirish look, she goes from a 10 to 100, and I just enjoy watching her in these movies, and not in a freaky way. Okay, don't take it in like that.
No. The way you're making it sounds exactly like how every teenage girl talks about Edward Cullen, and it's fucking like I understand why you like these movies at this point now.
No.
Like
Yeah,
you're fangirling for like the same reasons, but for a different character.
I'm pretty sure they wanted probably guys to feel like that for the main character. I don't even remember her name. Bella? Belle, I think? I don't
Probably.
remember. The
No
only
emotion.
person I bothered to remember was Alice. But, yeah, she is my Edward or Jacob of the movie. And I can watch the movie 100 times, and I'll enjoy it every single time. Because she makes the movie for me. And, sadly, I don't know of any other movie she's been in. And, but at least you understand why I enjoy watching Twilight. I'm pretty sure she comes out in. I don't know how much she's very prominent in the other four movies, but I mean, I'm good enough for just watching the first one. But that is my choice for the first one. Hopefully, it's not that bad. At least I don't think so. But let's see what you have. And wait, what did you send me, by the way?
I looked up her name on. Oh, this is a different character. Okay, I just assumed this was a male version of her, but this is a different character entirely.
Yes, John. This is not the character I got a crush on.
But it looks like a male version of her to an extent.
Yes, sure.
Dresses the same.
This is also
for any of you at home who know anything about Twilight. I assumed this was a male version of her, but it turns out it's a character named Garrett. He's a nomadic vampire that joins the Denali Coven as Kate's mate at the end of Breaking Dawn after their confrontation with the Volturi. That sounds like a lot of shit I don't understand.
Well, you have to watch the movie, John. Have you seen Twilight? Any of the Twilight ones?
I have cousins who started watching Twilight in their living room, and I made the smart decision to go to the next room and play Halo, which is saying a lot because I don't like playing Halo.
Wait, why is that a smart decision? I mean, I would understand if if you didn't know, about it. But I'm pretty sure you knew somewhat about the movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager in high school, so I was already under the stigma that watching Twilight was a shitty thing to do as a dude, unless, like, you had to, like, appease your girlfriend or something. But, like, other than that, I had no obligations to watch the movie. I did, however, have a cousin who did like the movie, and he was a guy. He was younger than me, but, like, I mean, meh, whatever. They all liked the movie.
I mean, yeah, but
and like I understand completely like why you would like it. Like just considering, I watched a video by Lindsay Ellis, who was talking about defending Twilight, and she was
Hmm.
saying that it's cookie cut. It's not cookie cut. It's just garbage, trash stuff to see. It's no different than watching the Fast and the Furious movies. It's just a different type of desensitized material for you to enjoy. It's not harmful to see, although like you can argue that the relationship between Bella and Edward could be construed as uh, weird or whatever. Just considering I've never seen the movie, but I have seen like videos about the movie and stuff. Like basically, and I know that David is going to mention this anyways. It's like if you listened to me talk about Pixels, like you just saw the movie.
um. Well, I mean, it's a weird movie. I mean, if you look at it in a broad sense, I mean, yeah, it's a movie about love, but it's weird love because it's not promoting in a sense, but it it I mean, it basically kind of is, but it basically surrounds the story around a girl, Bella, who's in love with this undead thing, and it kind of feels like necrophiliac. And then there's also the whole thing with the werewolf, which is like almost like bestiality. It's a bit weird, but
It's
um,
also all fictional.
yes, that is true. It is.
I mean, anime gets weirder, but
No, yes, there is some weird stuff in anime, but it's like I was told by a friend of yours to go and see Akira,
mhm.
a small clip of Akira, and I I can't sleep anymore. Like,
Oh god, yeah.
uh,
Good luck. I'm sorry. Hey, he watched it as a child, so
no,
probably.
no, yes, he told me, and oh god, I feel bad for his childhood.
I
No
don't.
one should be allowed to see that kind of stuff at such a young age.
Oh, I
So,
almost threw up watching it as an adult again.
so yeah, anime can go to some weird shit. But
So, since you're on Twilight, did you enjoy how they handled their interpretation of vampires, or no, or
well, I mean that's the thing. Um, this whole movie was a love story. So right off the bat I knew that none of these stuff was gonna be interpreted the way it should be interpreted. So yeah, we weren't gonna have this gruesome, you know, ugly creature that we usually depict vampire as. Instead, we got disco ball vampires, and and for werewolves, yeah, we didn't get these, humanoid beasts. We got little puppies instead. So, I mean, yeah, it's annoying, um, since they're not sticking to the true lore of these cryptic creatures. But I mean, it's supposed to be a love story.
I
So
mean,
I
if they
mean,
wanted to go for authenticity, Edward should have been a twink and Jacob should have been a bear, because then it would have made a lot more sense. Because vampires are skinny and they're almost dead, kind of like a
hmm
twink, and then you got werewolves who are big, muscly, and hairy like a bear. And if you guys don't know that terminology, then look it up.
um, I usually those are connected to other stuff, which
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not.
the point is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already a love story. Why not?
Oh god, I'm pretty sure that's already a thing, John. I'm pretty sure they've already made an triple X version of this.
I'm like
Uh,
90% certain they have.
okay, so I don't know. I think that's enough of Twilight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that you were going to talk a lot about it other than just, like, getting it off your chest. Whew, I like Twilight. It's
well,
no more to that.
well, I mean, again, I enjoy it for these small little reason, and the only reason I don't like saying it because it makes me sound like a creep. Like I'm watching this movie just because of this one person. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why everybody else watched it. They either watched it because of, Edward Collins or Jacob. But, right. I don't know, it's weird. But, okay,
question.
Let's get on
I
to
know that
yours.
Edward is a vampire. No, just one really quick question. I just need to know this. I know for a fact that Edward is a vampire who's lived for hundreds of years. How old is Jacob?
Yes. I think he's supposed to be the same age as, Bala, which
so
I
a
think...
child.
I think they're supposed to be around either maybe like 17, 18.
So children.
I mean young adults, yes.
Yeah. Last time I checked, according to the law, if you were 17, you were a child. I'm just trying to make this weird for anyone who's listening.
Good sir. John, you should know this more than anything because you've watched Transformers. There's a scene in there. I think the dude pulls out a card saying, "Oh, according to the state law, if the person is like 17 or 16,
it's called the Romeo and Juliet law." I remember that scene. He had an accent. It was super weird.
Yes,
and it's like Michael Bay. Why are you trying? Michael Bay? Are you trying to tell us something? Michael Bay, are you okay? Michael Bay.
No, you're not the only one that has said that. I've listened to other review podcasts and stuff like that, and they bring up that exact point. Is if that has no reason to be in the movie,
literally none.
No reason to be in there. So the only reason it would be in there is either because someone in the staff is going through this, or Michael Bay has something going on. One of those two.
Oh my god. Michael Bay, I feel, has gone through something like this, and he's trying to, like, show the world that it is okay. He's like, oh my god, maybe that's why he focuses so much on adapting kids stuff, like Transformers and Ninja Turtles.
Oh god,
and he's going to be doing Dora the Explorer. No, I'm going to psychologically analyze him. This podcast has now become, what is wrong with Michael Bay?
10 episodes in and we have a new podcast. Oh god. I'm just surprised he held it in for 4 movies.
Was that 4 movies? I don't know.
I don't know which one that movie was.
I don't know. That wasn't Age of Extinction, the last Transformers movie that I'm ever gonna watch. By the way, Transformers isn't on this list, and that's because of Age of Extinction. There is no way you could have saved my love of that franchise.
I mean, before we even move on, there's other movies that we personally hate just because of small reasons. I'm pretty sure maybe we'll get to it in the future in later episodes. But I mean, what you just said about Age of Extinction, John hates that movie for a particular reason. Okay, has to do with the extinction part in the movie title, which I kind of have an issue with that, but I can't really have that big of an issue because I also suffer from that, but with a different movie, which is Captain America Winter Soldier, where I have a big issue with that title of Winter Soldier. And let's just say that both movies lied about what was going to be in the movie.
Yeah, it's 100% a lie. It's like, oh, okay, it just... people need to not name their shit before they make a thing. They need to name... You can't have a tail wagging the dog. You have to have the dog wag the tail. That is literally a saying that is used for shit like this.
Wait, is the dog saying? I've never heard of that saying.
Yeah, it's a saying that exists. You can't have the tail wag the dog. The dog has to wag the tail. It's like saying it's just basically it's specifically for. I'll give you a link later. It's specifically for this kind of shit where you have to come up with a the the concept of your thing, the plot, the story, the characters, the world, before you come up with a name. Which we kind of almost did with Curse Quest. But, we already had the idea of the curses and them going on a quest, and it felt natural. And then we found out later, we can make a Curse Quest a literal, actual thing in the comic. And so then we just justified it even more. So that's a case of the dog wagging the tail, wagging the dog again.
Oh my god. Okay, this saying you keep saying, it's really bugging me out. I've never heard of that. I heard of don't count your chickens before they hatch. I think that would have been a better one. But, no, I mean, yeah. I mean, that doesn't make the movie bad. We just hate the movies because of that. Because of
my movie was things. Bad.
Oh, no, I mean, no,
was a great movie.
No, I'm not gonna lie. All the Transformer movies are, story-wise, bad.
They are bad.
I see Transformer movies as eye porn. They're just there to, fondle your eyes with all the explosions and all that, pretty lights and stuff. Other than that, I mean, if you're going to go watch Transformers for story,
you're in the wrong theater.
Jumps in the wrong movies. But oh my god. Okay, John, it's your turn. What's your first?
All right, my first choice is actually also a romance series. It is an anime called Golden Time. Now, before I keep going into that, I just got to check something really quick because I never actually confirmed to see if people like the show or not. So I'm going to really quickly do a rating search. It's actually a good show. Okay, cool. I picked a good show apparently. It's just there's a friend of ours who gives me a lot of shit for it because he's like, "Hey, dude, Golden Time is trash. You shouldn't watch that show because it's trash and it's garbage."
Yes.
It's a show about this dude named Banri or Tada Banri. I don't know exactly how to say it. I have a hard time remembering anime character names. I just remember them as that character from that one show. Because I can't remember anime names, Japanese names very good. I'm Japanese illiterate, basically. If you're not the main character, or if you're not significant, like too significant, it's kind of hard to remember just because all the names sound the same to me. And I know that might sound insensitive, or I don't know what the word is. Ignorant? Yeah, that's the word. But I'm sorry. It's like when David couldn't remember Huitzilopochtli's name. It's just hard to remember.
Wait, no. It's like they purposely make those names hard. Okay.
Huitzilopochtli? No, that didn't make that hard. That's just them speaking their native language.
I don't know. I think they knew I was gonna say it one day, so they tried to make it so hard for me to pronounce.
I mean, they knew the world was gonna end in 2012, also, but Oh shit! I'm mixing up cultures. Okay. That's bad. That's bad. That's very ignorant. That was the Mayans, not the Aztecs. Anyways, so he is this is why I love the show for one thing, it's the setting. It's, every anime that I've ever seen as a kid always took place in high school or in some fantasy world.
Yes.
This show starts off in fucking college.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's a show that takes place in college. So first of all, no weird feelings for liking any of the characters because none of them are underage. They're all actual adults. And funnily enough, I never really you know how you picked Alice for Cullen for the reason for watching this show? I never had any one of those reasons to watch this show. I just liked it because of the actual story. I never got weirdly attached to any of the characters, which is fantastic because that just makes the show so much better. So Banri is a kid. He's not a kid anymore. He starts going to college, and he's going there with his best friend, who I don't remember the name of. So Mitsuo. Mitsuo is his best friend's name, and they end up having this weird love triangle with Mitsuo's friend, a childhood friend. Her name is Koko Kaga, which is the only character's name I could remember because her name was so easy to remember. So Koko is madly in love with Mitsuo, has been their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
She's rich. She's essentially kind of seen as like the perfect person.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of clingy. And when I say kinda, I mean she's obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically forced herself to she's forced Mitsuo into promising to marry him or her. And so Mitsuo, rightfully so, ignores her and runs away from her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And uses Bonnery as a shield, essentially. Now, over the course of the series, Bonnery becomes actually falls in love with Coco, and that's when this kind of thing happens. The story kind of sets in a little bit. I said triangle. It really wasn't a triangle, considering one of the edges of the triangle absolutely hated the other one. So it was more like it's not gonna sound weird. It's more like a line with a dot. The conflict comes from the fact that Coco doesn't really want to stop being with Mitsuo, even though they're really not together. But I think it's like halfway through the series, Bonnery and Coco end up together, and it seems fine and whatever. And there's this one scene that was terrifying because they were already friends, and for the most part the show's drama stemmed from like characters and stuff, like just them, each other, all the other students and stuff, him trying to kind of learn how college life works, just normal growing up stuff that it was kind of fun to see. There's a scene where they end up all going to the beach, and it's sad because on the way back home, everyone's tired, and Coco, who's emotionally, or not emotionally, she's kind of socially still childish. She's not mature yet. Mm-hmm. She decides, hey, I'm going to drive us back home. Everybody else can sleep. And as she's driving, she falls asleep. Mm-hmm. This part isn't funny. It's just sad. They all almost die. They survive, but it was just terrifying. And she rightfully so gets emotional, and they kind of have to deal with this conflict. At some point, Bonnery realizes that he has some missing memories for some reason. He doesn't really remember any time before he went to college, and he starts seeing himself. It's weird. So he gets these how do you say it? Visions of himself, and he kind of realizes that he has a prior life. And there's another character. Her name is Linda. Oh yeah, it was a triangle in the show. Linda ends up kind of meeting him. She actually meets him very early on in the series, and she kind of talks to him like she knows him. Mm-hmm. And they find out that they were best friends, and that at some point, I think either he asked her or she asked him, I don't remember, if they could go out. And Bonnery
is this like a past life or just something he forgot?
Oh, it's something he forgot, my good sir.
Oh. Okay.
He finds out about this when he goes back home. He runs away or something. I don't remember exactly the details, but he goes back home and he like looks through all of his stuff, and he sees pictures of them together, and he's just freaking out. And he learns that he had a prior like in his life prior. He went through all this. Now, his parents, I believe, let him go to college and kind of just live his new life because they didn't want him to become hurt or something like that. Mm-hmm. And damn, I don't remember how the series ended. I think.
I mean, that's a good thing. You won't spoil it for others.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I shouldn't do that anyways. I already spoiled it enough, I think, honestly. I spoiled like two of the biggest moments in the show. Hey, David, since you're gonna edit this, you want to put a spoiler tag before I start talking about this show?
Okay, I'll make sure to put it at the intro.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to do it like in the middle of this?
Hold on, I'm trying to think. Okay, so because I don't think you're going to. Damn it! I made sure to put a spoiler for the Pixels one when I got to record the intro and outro because I knew you weren't going to do it. But
oh wow! I mean, what? I mean, I didn't spoil anything. You I mean, okay, yes, basically you did tell me the whole movie, but I mean, there's really nothing to spoil there.
Right. You know, he either gets together with Coco or not. That's text 1 for they get back together, and text 2 for they don't on your mobile device. There you go. It's open ended.
We didn't even provide what number to text to.
555 anime.
So wait, this is just a romance anime.
Yeah. You don't understand how amazed I was that non-action anime existed, at all.
See, look, oh yeah, you're not the only one too. You, my sister, and a few other people from school have the weirdest taste in anime, because I do not know how you can sit there and watch like a sports anime, or watch a drama anime, a romance anime, comedy anime. I don't know how y'all can sit there and watch those. It's like, okay, I might offend people by saying this, but I see like anime as somewhat of like cartoon. A lot better than cartoon, but I see it as
it's cartoon 2.0.
But I see it somewhat like that, and I don't want my cartoons to be about, lovey-dovey and, kissy-kissy stuff. No, I want to see fighting. I want to see drama in the sense that,
drama.
people going out and saving other people's life because they're going to die drama. And I don't want the drama to be, oh, I saw your boyfriend kiss this other girl at school yesterday, and oh my god, all that drama. Like, no, I don't want to see that.
Dude, but it can get complex. My favorite scene from the entire show, and this is just amazing, it's just when Mitsuo gets another girl to, crushing on him, and she's also obsessive. It's not Coco, it's somebody else. And she is just so super attached to Mitsuo. And so Tada Banri decides to go visit his friend on this day, and he notices there's something going on. This girl is just kind of in the way. And so what Banri does is genius. So in this show, prior, Coco acted a certain way with Mitsuo, where she'll point at him and kind of flirtily go, it's like, he is my boyfriend, in English. Which is a term used to show Japanese people speaking English. It's not racist. I'm sorry, that's just what people say. And so she does that. She's saying it in English, and it's adorable to hear. Now, Bonnery takes a quick page out of her book, and he does the exact same thing to him. And Mitsuo plays along with this, and the two pretend to be a couple to scare away the girl, because it's like, oh, he's already taken. And it's just hilarious, because as soon as she leaves, they just start laughing. He's like, hey, thanks, man, for having my back. He's like, oh, of course, do it anytime.
See, none of that interests me at all. You talked, and I swear I have heard all the stuff you said.
I think I'm dying.
Well, it's like, okay, Sword Art Online gets a bunch of crap because the character, I think the main character, just the way the main character was written, I guess that's why it gets a lot of crap. Mm-hmm. But I somewhat enjoyed our Sword Art Online. Everything that took place in the virtual world. Mm-hmm. Once they left the virtual world into the real world, it started becoming like a drama anime, because it's like, oh, I need to find the girl from the game, and I'm like heartbroken because I don't know where she is, all that stuff. It's like, no, go back to the video game world and do some more fighting in there. Oh my god, it's just, I don't know how they find those appealing. Sports anime, I don't know how that's fun. There's like a very popular cooking one, like a chef one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Food Wars.
That I like having, almost like orgasms from eating these foods.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then there's like the the ice skating one, Yuri on
Yuri
Ice,
on
I think.
Ice. That's also a romance one.
Yeah, it's like romance and sports. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Hey,
do know
the
there's a
Olympics are
lot.
around.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
I do know there's like a lot of people that find that enjoyable to watch. It's just it really boggles my mind on and why people enjoy watching these. Like, no diss to those who do like it. Not trying to be rude or anything. It's just it's weird. I like my anime to have fights in there. But I mean, I don't know.
Full
That's
disclaimer. Full disclaimer. I know that makes it sound like I'm a weeaboo. I only ever watch like maybe 1 or 2 anime a year, so like, yeah. I can count how many I've ever seen, but it's just, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. No, I know that when it comes to watching stuff, you tend to do it slowly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god. All right. So, I know that we have one more for each of us.
Yes.
David, did you pick something that was full of action also, or did you pick something that was also another mushy gushy romance thing? Which, by the way, this episode should have come out a couple of weeks ago because this seems more in line with Valentine's Day than it does anything else. I'm just saying that now because it makes no sense to have this episode out so late.
Okay, that's just a coincidence.
It is.
Are we gonna have any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Honorable
Yes.
mentions. Okay, so since other one's a movie, I guess. Honorable mentions.
Like,
I
for
watched
me,
Rio Rainbow Gate. That's also not a sport. That's not a. It's a gambling anime.
Mhm.
But now that I look back on it, it was a fan service anime. That's what it was. There was really no plot. Oh, it recently got an English adaptation, so I might actually watch that again.
Ooh, that must be nice. For me, it's another movie. This is not actually my second pick, but just as one that didn't make the cut. It was Easy A, mostly for the same reasons for the Twilight one.
Is it Emma Stone?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. At that time, I also had a big crush on her, so therefore, I actually really enjoyed watching the movie every single time. And I can't really think of any other ones, but that's the only one that I was like, I don't know if I should do that one or Twilight. So I did Twilight instead. So, okay. So my second one is a TV show, and it's actually somewhat recent. Recent as in it came on like towards the oh crap, when did it come out? I think it came out like towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. I would look it up, but that involves me looking it up. I don't want it. And it's the Inhuman series.
Oh god. I heard that was bad.
No, yeah. It is considered one of the worst things that Marvel has made.
You're counting Howard the Duck?
No.
I watched that with my own eyes. That's not ever getting on this list. That was a bad movie.
Well, I think that's how you do watching, is with your eyes. But, no, I have never seen that movie. Or, yeah, it was a movie, right?
Yeah, don't watch it.
Never not planning on watching it anytime soon.
Good. No, never.
But, no, yeah, it was the Inhumans. I understand why it's hated. And yes, it's not good. It's not great. But that's why I like it. Because it's bad, but I enjoy how bad it is. And
Sounds like The Room.
I've never seen that one either. No, yeah, story-wise, it flip-flops a lot, and it never stays consistent. They try telling too many stories at once, and none of them get like a proper conclusion, or it's like it does conclude a few storylines, but it kind of feels like they were rushed to do it. It's like it probably would have worked if they made it into a movie instead of a TV series or
I
a
mean, they
Hulu
were going
series.
to.
No, yeah, that was the plan.
But we got
But
Homecoming instead, bitch!
Spider-Man ruined it by
No!
Spider-Man ruined Inhumans because by introducing the Spider-Man, they had to knock someone out, and sadly, those that were knocked out was the Inhumans. And so I mean, yes, story-wise, it's pretty bad. Filmed-wise, um, oh god, I was actually gonna make a joke, but that's very insensitive, so I'm not. But okay, film-wise, it jumps all over the place. Like certain cuts, certain it was edited horribly. I'm not gonna lie about that either. They do in an action scene, they have like 50 cuts where it's just the camera bouncing all over the place. Which I mean, if you're easily nauseated, I'm pretty sure you threw up every fight scene of how many cuts they had. Uh, Characters didn't really have that good, story behind them. No good backstory, so you couldn't really invest in a lot of characters. And and back to the fight scene, there was only like one good fight scene in the whole series, and they had about like a good 10 fight scenes. Um, and I don't know. I mean, yes, there's many reasons on why it is bad, but something about it just made me fall in love with it. I really love, I really love Lockjaw, which is the teleporting dog.
Aww.
Super adorable. Karnak, which is one of the main humans in the series. I love the character, the concept of the character, and they didn't do him perfect, but I do think they did a pretty good job at you know uh, showing how the character works. By the way, John, if you don't know Karnak, he's an Inhuman, and his power is that he can find the flaw or weakness of anything. And in the show, they depicted it as he can kind of quickly analyze any situation and know where where his plan will fail. So I think in the first one, he gets surrounded by a couple of guards, and so there's a fight scene, and this is one of the worst ones. And he's going over calculating each move he has to do. On the screen it shows like math, symbols and stuff like triangles showing where he has to go for all of this, and it shows him where in his plan he would mess up, where he'll get shot or punched or knocked out, and then it goes back to normal time, and he goes like, okay, I know where I'm gonna mess up, so I'll plan ahead. And so he does the whole fight scene, kind of goes exactly the same way, except instead of stepping to the left, he'll step to the right, and then that avoids that whole consequence of him being knocked out or shot, and he's able to finish his move, or that whole sequence of the fight. And I mean, it does sound a bit dumb, but it's one of those where you have to watch it because it does get better and better as as they go through. And then Black Bolt, I kind of do like the character because one, the actor cannot talk at all in the whole series because Black Bolt's power is that with a whisper he can level a city, and so he had to do a lot of facial expressions to compensate with the role he had of not speaking.
So he couldn't just learn ALS?
No, he does. He has. Okay, it's sign language, but it's moon sign language.
Inhuman so it's ILS. I mean, if it's not ALS, it's ILS, right? Inhuman.
Yes, I guess. So he does know sign language, but the only person that knows how to read his signs, is his wife Medusa. So pretty much, if she's not there, no one knows what he's talking about. So, but again, I think he did a great job at doing, expressing himself with just facially, without using any, voice. So I give him a lot of props for that because that's really hard to do. And oh my god, what is his name? Maximus, which is the main villain in this.
Is he a human or an inhuman?
He is an inhuman. He's Black Bolt's brother.
Is he like evil Black Bolt? Is he White Bolt?
No, oh my god, no, John. His name is Black Bolt. That is his name. That's not his hero's name. That is his name. It's
then what's his hero name?
It's okay. His hero name is.
I'm fucking with you. I know it's probably just Black Bolt. It's like Thor.
No. Okay, his real name is Black Boltigan something. I can't remember. So his hero name is just the beginning of his name, Black Bolt. And so Maximus is his brother, and the whole plot of the show, it's that I don't know how much you know about Inhumans, but usually
they get their powers from the. Oh, what the hell just happened to my voice? What was that? They get their powers from the tetragrammatron crystals.
I've never heard it said like that, but yes, yeah, they're mutants, but better because at the time Marvel didn't own mutants. So yeah, they get their powers through the Terrigenesis process, and which is just the Terrigenesis crystals, and they crush them in the show, in the show, they're crystals that when you crush, it releases the Terrigenesis mist, and that transforms the Inhumans into Inhumans. You have to have a special gene, to be changed into an Inhuman. So that's why not all humans can go through this process. In like the this is supposed to be in the MCU as well, but it's not really. They're not really going to be referenced in the movie universe. But in this universe, if a human gets in contact with the Terrigenesis mist, they die. But in the comics, I don't think that happens. So the thing is that Black Bolt's brother, Maximus, goes through this process, but he doesn't turn into an Inhuman. What happens to him is that when he goes through this Terrigenesis process, he actually turns into a human.
Mm-hmm.
So he loses all his Inhuman, genes.
So his mutant power is to be normal.
They're not mutants, but yes, his Inhuman power is to be normal. And so, and his plan throughout the whole, show is that, one, he wants to take over the moon base, the city of Atalan, which is what their city is called. And the reason he wants to do that is because he knows that while his brother is, the king or ruling over Atalan, that he won't be able to force a second Terrigenesis process for him, because he wants to go through it again. And except he knows that because he's part human, that he could die, but he wants to do some kind of experiment on himself to get rid of that effect of dying because he's a human, but also to try to see if he can gain a power through the mist by going through the mist again. And so that's what the whole story is about. There's other smaller stories that are inserted in there, which what many people hate because they try to tell too many stories at once. But I think that's great motivation for a villain, and I do like the character of Maximus. And it's just like those little things were enough for me to actually enjoy the series, even though yes, overall it is bad, but it's bad in a good way for me. which is why I really enjoy watching it.
Okay. I understand. Did people really hate Inhumans that much?
Well, okay, overall, people don't like Inhumans because they were they were being forced down our throats by Marvel because they didn't own the X-Men. I mean, it got to the point where they stopped writing X-Men books because they wanted to start promoting Inhumans, and so that's why they're trying to get that movie out, which then got the show out, and it just everything felt rushed, and so it's just no one literally everyone considers this to be the worst thing that Marvel has made. Movie TV wise, one of the worst things that they have currently made, I would say. Because again, I have not seen the Howard the Duck stuff, but no, yeah, it is disliked by. I'm pretty sure I'm safe to say disliked by almost everyone, every Marvel fan. At least, but I don't know. There's something about it that I just enjoyed.
I mean, it sounds to me like something that you could enjoy, just because, like, I know you like the Inhumans, but when Marvel announced they were going to be making all these movies, I was least excited for the Inhumans, and I didn't really want to tell you because I didn't care about them. And then when I found out who the characters were, I'm like, they don't really interest me. I don't really care about the guy who screams really loud and the Wicked Wedgie Woman.
Oh my god, no.
That's what she is. She has the same power.
Oh my god, John.
It's all good.
It's not. How can you call her the Wicked Wedgie Woman, John?
Look up the Wicked Wedgie Woman and tell me they don't have the same power.
She's an old lady that gives wedgies to people. Medusa is an amazing character. Oh. You cannot compare the two, John. You have offended me now.
No, that's okay. What are Medusa's powers? Just off the top of your head.
One, she's a master strategist.
Mm-hmm.
She's the queen of Atlan, which she rules over all humans. Mm-hmm. She's really good at combat, hand-to-hand combat, and she can use her hair as a living. Her hair is like a living part of her that she can use to stretch out and use as actual limbs.
Aha, thank you. That was what I was trying to ask you to tell me. But, yeah, so she's the Wicked Wedgie Woman.
In no comics has she ever either threatened someone with giving them a wedgie or given someone a wedgie. So, that is my defense.
Okay. No, I understand completely.
I don't think you do.
No, I really don't. I'm just playing dumb on this one. I have nothing to. I have no way of getting back from that one. Okay. So you guys can stop listening right now if you are going to feel at all offended by my pick, or if you at all think any less of me. I don't really give a shit. So, I picked Ghostbusters. The new one.
Okay.
Not the second one, which I know some people didn't like. I mean the new one. Now, it feels wrong saying that. David, did you watch the movie?
I have not.
Okay.
Mostly because I've never seen the original ones. So I never had that sense of nostalgia to go watch the other one, the new one.
Okay.
So, no, I have not seen it.
Alright. So the plot for Ghostbusters and the plot for Ghostbusters are the exact same plot. Pretty much. Only thing is different is, the main characters, swap gender. Basically, the dudes are now chicks, and the original cast, sans Harold Ramis because he passed away, appear in the new movie as cameos. Spoiler alert: Bill Murray's character dies. I don't know why. I guess Bill Murray just wanted to die in a Ghostbusters movie.
Because he didn't want to be used in the Ghostbusters movie anymore. That's why he died.
Yeah. So, so the original movie, Bill Murray's character, Peter Venkman, was the main character, essentially. He's the driving force of the film, for the most part. In the new movie, he plays a skeptic who wants to see the ghost that they've caught because he thinks that it's fake. And so the girls, specifically the main character, Erin, she's like, no, you know what? Screw him. I'm going to show him the ghost. And then Melissa McCarthy's character is like, no, that's a bad idea. We can't show him the ghost. And there's a fucking ghost in there. And she's like, no, we got to show him the ghost because, like, he doesn't believe us. So we're showing him the fucking ghost. And so then they summon the ghost on him and it kills him. It just throws him out a window and he dies. And for some reason, they don't get arrested. I don't understand that one. So I think the reason I like this movie is because the humor in the movie is my level of humor. It knows exactly what makes me laugh specifically, so I think that's really the reason why it gets to me. Like, there's a scene, and I know this is a dumb joke, and I know that nobody's gonna remember this joke, even people who like this movie. There's a scene where they're talking to the mayor, and they're, the mayor's kind of mad at them. Is like, do you know how many laws you broke? And then you hear Holtzman, who's the crazy character. She goes, 1. No. You guys, you do realize you were using a siren in New York, right? Like, you guys can't do that. And she goes, 2. And he goes, no! 1. No! And it's like, she went back on, that's a kind of level of humor that I enjoy. It's like, it's just that. I know one criticism that it has when it comes to the humor is that the original Ghostbusters was really focused on intelligent humor, I guess you could say. A lot of it required you to be paying attention, to kind of like be listening and kind of like have an understanding of what they're saying. And so a lot of the jokes in the new movie are based on like slapstick and very top level, kind of like, not top level, low level, kind of like lowest common denominator jokes. Like a lot of it just comes from, you can understand it very quickly. Some of the humor is meta humor, like when they talked about YouTube and how they said that you should just ignore people's comments, and I'm like, yeah, it's just like in real life when people didn't like your movie, just from the trailer. There was that too. For the most part, the movie shares the same beats. They have a lot of nice little nods to the original one. Now, here's where I like this movie, and it's one of those things. People like the original Ghostbusters because of the comedy and all that stuff, but as a core concept for a child, it's about the ghost busting. It's about the equipment. It's about like all this cool stuff that you can do. And the whole point was that, like, you can also do this kind of shit. Even if it's not real, you can still imagine it. And if you watch the original Ghostbusters, they don't do it a lot. The equipment they have is very basic, I guess you could say. They have backpacks with little hoses on them that spray. I could be wrong here. Positrons or neutrinos, one or the other. Positrons. It was a positron because they call them positron ones. If I'm wrong, fuck you. So, anyways, they use positron beams to fight ghosts because they're made of negative ectoplasm energy or something like that. So it kind of counteracts it. It neutralizes them and it paralyzes them so that they can trap them inside of a little box that they just throw out there. Now, that's the extent of the Ghostbusters technology. That and the vault, the Phantom Zone thing, where they just lock the ghosts up.
Okay, quick question. I've never seen, and like I said, the original ones. Is this technology something that they just happen to have, or do they like create this like backpack gun sucking thing, or like
So they make it on their own. They do research. It's all based on nuclear technology. Oh yeah. By the way, they are carrying around unregistered nuclear devices on their backs. They're essentially carrying an entire nuclear power. They're carrying an arc reactor on their back, essentially. And if the arc reactor is destroyed, well, goodbye, reality. They're all dead. They did mention that if they cross the streams of the beams, they will reverse the pull on atoms in the entire planet. So,
Okay,
that's how strong the backpacks are.
So, they literally have okay, it's not a weapon, but basically a weapon that can literally destroy the entire world, and what they decide to do is run around the city and just, like, wave it around to suck up not aliens, ghosts. Where is the common sense in that?
It's, first of all, it's a movie. The point is, it's like, they use science to beat, like, superstition. That's the whole point of it. It's using logic over, reason and logic over superstition and fairy tales. And that's the whole point of it. Like, the very end of the first movie, they literally fight an ancient Sumerian god. That's, like, the whole thing.
Was that the marshmallow-looking man?
Yeah, technically. You say you never watched the movie.
No.
So I'll very briefly.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. It's the fucking Ghostbusters movie. Everyone's seen it. There's a character named Gozer the Gozerian. And Gozer, they all confront Gozer. And they're about to defeat him. Well, they only are about to defeat him because it's the end of the movie. They don't know this. They're talking to Gozer, and then Gozer appears, and it appears in, like, a womanly, like, androgynous shape, because, it's a deity. It doesn't really have a gender. And in real life, Gozer is physically played by a female model who dresses up like David Bowie, and voiced by a man. And so Gozer shows up and is like, "Choose the form of your destroyer." And it's like, okay, what's going on here is it's going to make us think of something, and it's going to transform into it. Then, that is how it's going to destroy us. So, everybody think about nothing. And so then, you hear silence, and then you hear Gozer go, "You have chosen the form of the destroyer." And then everybody's just like, "Did you think of anything? No! Did you think of anything? No!" And they all turn around to the same person. It's Ray. And Ray is just like, I didn't think that it... I just thought of... What did you think of, Ray? I thought of the one thing that couldn't hurt me. I thought of... Back when I used to go camping, I thought of... And you just, like, hear the Marshmallow Man roaring. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And so then they kind of have, like, a little reference to that in the new one, where the main bad guy has turned into a ghost, and he is he basically does the same thing where he's, like, talking to them, and he's like, he doesn't say exactly the same thing, but he's just like, "Hey, I don't have to be menacing. I can be whatever you guys want me to be. I could be cute and cuddly." And then he turns into their logo. And then they're like, "Yeah, we prefer that." And then he's like, "Okay." And he turns into the logo. And then it, like, grows and becomes kind of monstrous. And it's kind of cool, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if anybody here is a fan of the movie The Mask, there is a huge scene that is basically a ripoff of The Mask. I know some people won't, I liked, where the character Rowan, who dies pretty early on in the movie, he suicides, to turn into a ghost so that he can come back to life as a ghost and possess somebody to finish his job, or something like that. And so he becomes an all-powerful ghost, and he decides to possess Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Hemsworth is basically retarded in this movie until he's possessed by Rowan. And Rowan, inside of Chris Hemsworth's body, decides to go to a section of New York that is the center point of ley lines, and sit there and basically open up the portal and unleash all of the ghosts into New York. Now, as he does this, the police show up, and the police do what the police do, and they try to stop him. But Rowan shows that he can, at will, just make them dance. Kind of like The Mask, but not as cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
It's still pretty fucking cartoonish, but it's not like he's not playing Cuban Pete. He's not doing da 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 da. He's not doing that.
So there's not a conga line in this whole entire scene.
He does make them like dance in unison though, which is it was kind of adorable. Just seeing them like doing that, and then they stand still completely, and then the Ghostbusters show up and they just run inside the building. I don't know why he didn't just omnipotence them, but whatever. I mean, I don't really think. I mean, it's super obvious they beat him. I mean, I don't really think that's a spoiler. Nobody dies. It's all good. Yeah. So my defense for this movie is that it's not as bad as you think it is. Have your own fucking opinions. Watch a movie on your own before you decide that it's a good movie or a bad movie. It is all up to personal taste. I liked I like the first 3 Transformers movies. Yeah, I like the first 2 Transformers movies. Third one was alright. It wasn't great. I remember the plot, but that's like not important. Fourth one, I remember that too much. I want to forget it. It pains me. So Ghostbusters 2016, not a bad movie. I liked it. Would I put it in my top 10? No. Would I put it in my top 100? Probably. I don't think I watched that many movies.
Okay.
The ghost weapons in this movie are actually really cool, by the way. You can punch ghosts, which is fucking cool.
Wait, didn't they just have the same equipment? Like,
no, that's why this new one...
sucker upper thing? Like, I thought that's all they had.
Okay, so in the original Ghostbusters, I know... Okay, so in parodies of Ghostbusters, they always make it look like the proton pack also sucks the ghosts. It doesn't! They have this little box they carry with them that sucks the ghosts. All the proton pack does is paralyzes the ghost and lets you move it. So you have 2 things to operate. You have this box. I forgot the name of it. You got to throw it out there and leave it on the ground. You can't look at it because if you look at it, you blind yourself. And what you got to do is you got to point the proton pack at the ghost, pull it to where you know the box, pull it to where the box is. Stop looking at the box. Press the button. The box opens up. The box sucks up the ghost. You let go of the box and let go of the proton pack. It's a very complicated process.
Okay.
Same thing with this new movie. That's still there. But they get new equipment like the ghost chipper, which literally lets you punch a ghost and shred its ectoplasm into pieces. You can kill ghosts in this version, which is kind of cool, but they still come back. They don't come back instantaneously. You can incapacitate them.
Okay.
I make it sound like a video game. You.
Okay. Do you happen to know what the scoring on it was?
I don't know. Let me see if I can. Ghostbusters.
I was just asking if you had it on top of your head. I have it right here. According to Rotten Tomatoes, it didn't do that bad. It did a 74%.
Okay.
So, I guess I guess it was hated mostly by the diehard fans, but I don't know. I think most of the people just didn't like it because it was all female cast. And,
I think that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why people make a big fuss about that. Who cares? But again, I've never seen it. I'm not planning on seeing it. Not
That's
because
fine.
of what other people think.
No,
or because other people think it's bad. It's just because that's just not something that, I don't have no nostalgia for it because again, never seen the original ones. Same thing with Back to the Future. If they were ever to remake that or do another version of it, I'm not gonna bother to watch it because I've never watched the original ones.
There's a 900% chance that if we end up doing Spectrum Files and it goes for more than one arc, I am definitely doing a Ghostbusters parody. Just to spite you at this point. I have no interest in Ghostbusters. Well, congratulations. Guess what monsters you're going to be fighting sometime in the superhero campaign.
Oh god. So I mean, I don't know really what's the really big deal about that one, but I understand why many people, at least the hardcore Ghostbusters fans, would judge you on that. I guess I don't know. I don't really see the appeal in the Ghostbusters movie, but that's just me. I'm more interested in that Lord of the Rings show that they're gonna be making.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, over like Ghostbusters 2. There is gonna be a 2, isn't there?
Is there? They had a.
I thought
they had a teaser for it at the very end, like a what do you call it, a stinger. And I like the stinger because it made me realize who the villain for the next movie is. But like I don't know if other people want to see it. It's another nod. It was so in the first movie. I'll just say this spoiler first. So in the stinger, they got a phone call and Kevin, which is Chris Hemsworth's character, is like, "Hey, you guys got a call from Zool," and it's like, "Huh?" So they listen to the phone, and it's like they got a phone call from some dude named Zool, and then they're like, "Who the fuck is Zool?" And it's just like, "Oh, that's the name of one of the monsters from the first movie, Zool." Some of the demon dogs.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I would love to see in modern day graphics, because the demon dogs were made of clay in the original one. It was claymations put on top of normal stuff. I would love to see that remade.
Quick thing: does this happen like in the same universe in the future, or is it just a different universe?
They're not. Okay, here's the thing: it's confusing as fuck because they're not. But one of the characters from the original movie is a taxi cab driver in this movie, and he's like, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts. That's a type 5 ghost right there. It's right there, and I'm gonna go." And I'm like, "Are you the same character from the first movie? Because I'm very sure you're not." And Bill Murray's character's not the same character, and Ernie Hudson's character's not the same character. But why is your character the same character? But a taxi cab driver. And I actually had this theory, like I told my brothers, it's like, hey, I have a theory that the ghost world for this movie is the same ghost world as the other movie, and they both share a ghost world. So that would actually explain a lot of that shit. And it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. And I'm like, I like to think that way. That they just share the same ghost world, but that's just me.
Okay.
I think people didn't like this movie just because they were disappointed that Ghostbusters 3 Hell in New York never happened. Which is a cool premise, that part of the ghost world ends up becoming part of the Earth world, and, Hell literally shows up to Earth.
Okay. That seems a little bit more advanced for a Ghostbusters movie.
It was the third part of a trilogy that never happened.
I don't know. That seems like, the way I've heard Ghostbusters being, that seems like a pretty big jump. And like, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. Hell coming to Earth. But I don't know. I guess it's just the execution, how it would have been done. But, okay. I totally forgot the Ghostbusters was a thing. The new one. So that's nice to remember that was a thing.
You're welcome.
No diss to the movie. It's just I literally just forgot there was a Ghostbuster remake.
Oh no, it's fine. I understand. Sometimes when movies come out, you don't remember they happened. Like Storks. Like, I only say Storks because I use that as an example for a movie that I'm never going to remember, which ironically is how I remember it. And Peter Rabbit. I know I'm not going to remember Peter Rabbit, but now that I'm saying that, I know I'm going to remember Peter Rabbit simply to use it as an example for movies that people won't remember in the future.
But that was a good choice. Good choice. Good job,
Excellent.
John.
Yay!
Good job.
I
You didn't mess up this episode.
Oh, yay!
Okay.
I don't think we have an idea. Well, I mean, we've talked about what the next one should be, but we haven't. I haven't done the part that I said I was going to do. I forgot to contact the person that we were going to talk to about this, so we might end up doing that if that comes out quicker. Or I know we already planned on this. This might be the next one, depending on how fast we can get this other this other little thing going. But David really wanted me to make my version of The Shape of Water.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted me to do that like next time, right? Because you haven't seen the movie yet.
I have not seen the movie.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if by that time the movie would be coming. Will come out on DVD or Netflix, wherever it comes out first.
Okay.
But I mean, I can always just go ahead and choose another movie. But
okay.
Yes.
Well, we can wait until that movie comes out so you can watch it, and I can do that. And then conversely, I was going to pick a movie, and you were going to tell your version of the story. But I have seen the movie, and I was going to pick Akira, but I actually kind of want to see how you handle Murder on the Orient Express. Have you seen that movie?
The only version of that book I've seen is the Doctor Who episode of it.
Oh,
so,
they're not related that much, other than there's a murder on a train.
Okay. So, no, I've not seen the movie. That is a movie I've kind of been wanting to watch, but I guess I could hold off for a bit.
When are you planning on watching it?
No, that's just a movie that whenever I had time, I would want to watch it. If it ever came out on Netflix. Not something I'm going to go out to actually go rent or anything. Like, I was going to wait until it probably popped up on Netflix. Maybe give it a watch. But not anytime soon, no. But I don't mind waiting a few days to watch it. Sorry?
You know, there's only like 3 or 4 blockbusters left. You know that, right?
Dude, it's Redbox. Go rent it at Redbox or something.
The fuck's a Redbox? Oh, are you talking about those red boxes that are at every CVS?
Yes. Yeah, those red boxes are located at, outside a lot of stores. That is a machine called a Redbox, where you rent movies and video games sometimes, which is dumb because you can only rent it for one day. And who's gonna rent a video game for one day?
That's the fuck?
I know, and they charge you like $2, and like they charge you another $3 if you return it late. A video game. So like, no, I'm not gonna go rent a freaking game for like $5 just to play it like for a day. That's stupid.
That makes 0 sense.
This is why I liked Blockbuster, and I don't know if you remember, but there's another huge movie rental called Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember
Video
that.
Hollywood?
Yes.
There's still a place called Family Video. They still exist.
But never heard of that one. But there used to be a Hollywood literally right down the street from my house, where I'll go. I used to go every 5 days because that's how long a rental will last. Either 5 days. I think video games maybe were a little bit more, but yeah, I would go there and rent a video game every 5 days to go play it. It sucked because I would rent from my PlayStation, and I did not have a memory card at that time, so I literally, I couldn't save any progress. So I'll be sitting there playing the same levels over and over again. But no, yeah, that I enjoyed. What Redbox does, that is robbery. They are stealing money.
So I just want to say one really quick thing before we go. And it was the story of how me and my brother scammed Santa Claus into getting us a PS2. So really quickly, if you have children, please cover their ears, and or I don't really give a shit. This is an adult podcast. Santa Claus isn't real. So this is how we tricked our parents into getting us a PlayStation 2. We went to Blockbuster, bought a copy of the SpongeBob SquarePants video game for the PS2, and we made sure that. And by the way, when I say we scammed our parents, we did. My brother still thought that Santa Claus existed, and I kind of already figured out because I think I was a teenager at this point already. I was 12 or something like that.
I would hope so. By then, you knew the truth.
Anyways, I think I was 12 or something. I don't remember. Anyways, so I figured out. I made this little plan, and what we did is we bought a copy of the SpongeBob SquarePants video game for the PS2, and we made sure that the return date was before Christmas, so that we could not return the game back. And now that I'm saying this out loud, this plan is really flawed because it would have been cheap for our parents to just return the game, and I'm pretty sure they knew that. But like, and you know, just like take it as a loss. I'm pretty sure they knew that. But, we were like, okay, if we get a game for a system we don't have, and we ask Santa for this game system, we have to get the game system because now we have this dead piece of technology we're never going to be able to use. And so we got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas.
Yeah. May I ask why you got the SpongeBob game and not any other game?
Because this. First of all, fuck you. The SpongeBob SquarePants video game. SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game is one of the best games I've ever played. Believe it or not, it is a great game.
Well, in your defense, you don't really play any games, so I can believe that.
It's like my taste in movies and anime. I don't do a lot of them, so. My favorite game series are, in no particular order, Pokemon and the Lego games.
That's understandable.
And not many others.
I would say that is probably the worst plan
ever
you can set up to get a console game. Because I had something like that happen to me, where I was gifted a Luigi's Haunted Mansion game for the Nintendo GameCube.
You had a GameCube?
No, I didn't. I was gifted that game. My parents and my sister at that time, one of my oldest sister had a job at that time, looked at it and said, what's this for? It's like, oh, it's for a GameCube. It's like, oh, it's not a movie? He's like, no, it's for the console GameCube. And I was thinking I was going to get a GameCube. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh well, we can give it to somebody else. And that was it.
Oh my god!
And so they just gave it to somebody else.
Oh my god! What did you get for Christmas that year?
They made it up because I think I got a VHS of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings Twin Towers. I don't think the last movie had came out at that time. But, yeah, I think it did. I don't remember. I don't know when the GameCube was released. But, no, yeah, they got me that for Christmas. And so I was still somewhat happy. But, thinking about it, why did I get them in VHS? That's so lame. But, yeah, I got that.
Okay. I mean, no harm, no foul.
Well, no. They at least... I mean, sure, my whole, childhood was shattered in that very day, but it's really heartbreaking when you think there's a 2-part gift coming for you in the form of a video game and then a game and a console that comes with it. But no, what sucks more is that my cousin, we somewhat shared a house at that time with his family. He got an Xbox. So it was like putting, more salt on the wound there. But I mean in return, on my birthday, my sister's then boyfriend gave me his Super Nintendo. Nintendo 64.
Dude,
so
yes.
I played that till I was like 15? 16 maybe, and then I finally got my first console, which was a PlayStation 2, and then once I got my own job, I got my own console, PlayStation 4. Sorry, PlayStation 4.
When did the PS6 come out?
I don't know. I don't. What are you talking about?
I
Are
don't
you
know.
trying to save this for like the future? It's like when they hear this, John predicted the PlayStation 6.
The inevitable arrival of the PlayStation 6. Yeah, you never know. It could be like the Dreamcast. It just dies at some point. You never know.
Nintendo is the master race. But
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to talk about more today. I'm also really far away from the mic, so if I'm a little bit quieter, I'm sorry. I'm just not talking towards the mic.
No, yeah, I think that's it for today. I mean, we talked about these shows, and we talked about our bad childhood. But, well, I mean, no, you had the better end of the stick, because you actually got a console out of your trick. But, no, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Okay. So, I guess...
Hey!
Yes.
We didn't get into an argument this time at the end. Sweet.
I mean, we kind of got an argument with the SpongeBob thing. But,
Was that really an argument, though?
But, I don't think we have to end everything with an argument, John. Think in the positive side, please.
No.
No, so yeah. I guess towards the... I guess once you figure out the whole situation with the third person, we can then, set in stone of what we're going to do next episode.
Yes.
So, I guess stick to the end. Hopefully, y'all like to stick to the end. And, we'll find out what our next episode's going to be.
Or if we have a next episode.
Oh, don't say it like that. You make it seem like it's over.
Well, no, it's not over. It's not like anyone's quitting.
Oh, okay. This no. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is David one more time. Thank you for sticking to the end of the episode. Just here to do a little bit more of that house cleaning stuff, telling you all our good stuff. Now, if you want to follow our personal accounts, if you want to follow me and John, you can do so on Twitter. You can follow me at cc_falls, and then you can follow John at JohnnyVE3. To keep up with the show, you can do so also on Twitter at CanvasCast, and you can also follow our web series, the one that me and John work on, and that we also talked about in our past episodes, Curse Quest. You can do so at Sci-Star Comic on Twitter as well. You can also visit our personal website to read our comic at scistar.net. Also, if you're following us on iTunes, we would really appreciate for y'all to give us a rating, give us some comments, feedback on how we can make this show better for y'all, or what y'all would like to listen to in the future. Also, for those who don't follow us on iTunes, wherever you do hear us or download our show, please rate us on there. It would really be helpful and great. Now, for our next episode, we are actually going to have a special guest. The project me and John are working for the summer with our campaign, we want to introduce you to one of the person who's going to be joining us in that campaign. Not 100% sure who it is going to be, but what I do know is that next episode is going to be me, John, and a special guest. So, I hope you guys are ready for that, and until next time.